Konnichiwa minasan, let's learn Japanese episode 18へようこそよろしくお願いします。さあ、今日はね、日本語能力試験2級の文法です。Today we're doing Jeopardy N2 level grammar. So yay, doing some fun stuff now. Okay, so that was just a wire falling down, very confusing for a moment. Okay, つつある. This is a grammar bit that you put on the end of a verb. Verb, take away ます and add つつある. And this one is a little bit unique because most other conjugations, you change the verb to 実証 form, 実証形 first, or you change the ending of the verb stem before you put on the other grammar bit. But this one, you don't change it. Just take away the ます and then put on つつある at the end. It's really easy, actually. It's kind of refreshing. You just have to remember that this is the strange one where you don't change the ending of the verb stem. So, a couple of examples. This one is actually from last week's sentence, from last week's Let's Read in Japanese. So talking about people forgetting people are more and more, yes, before I talk about the examples. How do you use this grammar point? Okay. つつある is a grammar point for when you want to say that something keeps happening more and more. It continues to happen. It continues to either increase or decrease. Something is continuing on more and more and more than before, or less and less and less than before. It's a continual change of something. And there are lots of different kinds of contexts that you can use this in. I found some normal examples and some interesting examples. I didn't know that you could use it like that. So I'm learning too. We're learning together. That's why it's let's learn. Okay. So that's the basic use. And so this example from last week's Let's Read in Japanese, talking about people are more and more, the modern day person is forgetting this basic concept, right? So 一番基本的なことを忘れつつある. So more and more they're forgetting this basic concept. Or, here's another example. I shortened this from a much longer sentence, but 車ではなくて電車を使用する人が増えつつある. So 車, car, ではなくて, not cars, but 電車, trains, を使用する, to utilize, to use. I think we saw that word before. 使用する人, people who use these things, が増える, つつある. So 増える, 増え, to increase, つつある. So it's continuing to increase. So the number of people who are using trains and not cars continues to increase. Or the number of people who are using trains instead of cars is on the rise, you might say. It all conveys that meaning of continuing to increase, continuing to change in the same direction. I guess that's an important thing to say about this one, is that it's talking about a change of something that was already changing before and it continues to change now in the same direction, either increasing or decreasing. It was increasing before and it's still increasing. It was decreasing before and still decreasing. Okay, and last one. I thought this one was kind of funny, kind of interesting. I didn't know you could use it like this. John は自分に戻りつつある. John は自分に戻りつつある. So John himself に戻ります means to return. 戻ります. 戻りつつある. So John is returning to himself. Kind of strange if you translate it directly, but if you understand the context, it means that maybe he was acting strange before. He was doing things before that, John doesn't usually do that, or John doesn't usually say that. But now he's coming back to himself. He's becoming more and more like the John that we know. Right? John is becoming more and more himself. So maybe like I don't know, he gets a new girlfriend or he gets dumped by his girlfriend and he starts acting weird. And then a little bit after that, he starts to come back to what he usually says and what he usually does. John は自分に戻りつつある. So, this verb 戻ります right? Or 増えます 忘れます all they did was just take off ます and then add つつある and don't change the verb stem. And a good example of that is 戻ります 戻り becomes, when you make it in jisho form, 戻る right? But in this case, right? So it's not like they change it to 戻るつつある. Don't do that. That's wrong. 戻りつつある. Just take away the ます and then add つつある to the end. Don't change the stem. Okay, that's it for today. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time. それで今日で終わります。いつも見てくれてありがとうございます。今度もよろしくお願いします。じゃあね。Cheers.